Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here. Welcome back to another video for Monster Hunter Stories 2. And in this one, I wanted to very quickly talk about how to change a Monstie's colour. If you guys played Monster Hunter Stories 1, you will of course be familiar with this system. If you didn't, then you basically had the ability to alter a monster's element, and in doing so, it would actually have a visible effect on that monster in-game. Now that system is, technically speaking, present in Stories 2, up till a point. If you guys saw our Rite of Channeling guide that I uploaded the other week, then you'll of course know I mentioned that you can change the element of a Monstie. However, once it gets to a certain level, it will then just revert back to its default element, and since having a chance to sort of dig deeper into endgame, that still doesn't seem to change. So it seems like this is a system that is almost potentially a legacy, maybe sort of a thing that was baked into the engine but they decided not to realise beyond that point, at least as it currently stands. But regardless, I wanted to go over how you do it and explain a couple of things. So if you do enjoy this, a like would be super appreciated. If you found any different results yourselves, by all means share them down below. Also, just to give you some context, the reason I say that this is probably not present is that there was actually an interview with Ryozo, and he actually said, in Monster Hunter Stories, we included a mechanism to change the attributes and elements of Monsties through channeling. But we have omitted that this time. We decided it is more efficient to develop strengths, for example the original attributes, and even among users who play Stories, not many people knew how the mechanism worked. Instead, for Stories 2, we greatly increased the number of skills that can be passed down, which I think increases the fun of creating original monsters. So that is basically his official way of saying it's technically not present, but mechanically it does still exist. If we revert back to the Rite of Channeling, again, I spoke about this before, but in order to change a monster's element, you basically have to pass over a boost gene. So this can be any element. Say in this situation, I have a fire boost gene L. These come in different sizes, small all the way up to extra large. And in order to change a monster's element, you basically have to give it a boost gene so that that element then ends up overtaking whatever is the dominant element. So if a monster is, say, non-elemental by default, and you then boost it with fire, and fire then exceeds that limit, you will then be able to see on its default attack type that will then change to fire. Now this works on level 1 Monsties. In fact, it works all the way up until about level 15, and then beyond that point, it then reverts back to its original state. However, for the purposes of showing off the cool feature, if you do this to a Monstie, and you then go and take a look at it out in the field, it actually changes the way it looks. Rather interestingly, it does not change it if you look at it in the Monstiepedia, it doesn't change it if you look at it in your team list. In fact, if you go into battle, it also does not show. This is purely only for open world, however, it is still really cool. In this situation, I have a lot of fire monsters, so I've only really been able to do this with fire. You could do this with anything, but I actually haven't had a chance to get a decent gene in other elements. But you can see if I take the Brute Tigrex and I make him fire Brute Tigrex, his stripes go red, which looks fantastic. Some monsters aren't as obvious. I have Zamtrios, where it changes just some little bits on his fins. Of course, things like Azeroth, it changes some of the stuff on the fur. So there are some samples, and I'll let those run in the background so you can at least sort of take a look at how some of them do change. And honestly, this is a really cool feature, and the fact that it is mechanically speaking in the game, I do kind of hope that maybe Capcom sort of change their mind and decide to patch it in or update it, because functionally, it exists. It's just not beyond a point. And in my original video, I said that maybe there was something sort of tied to endgame that maybe allowed you to do this further, but now that I've dug even deeper into endgame, it still doesn't seem to be possible. So while technically speaking, you can do it, it isn't going to last you for very long. Either way, that is the answer to your question. That is, technically speaking, how you can change a Monstie's A, dominant element, and B, by extension, their colour. So hopefully that answers your questions. Maybe if you wanted to do it or have it sort of like a fun thing, you could at least maybe hold on to like a level 1 Monstie that you could just ride around the open world in and do some fun colour changing. If you guys have experimented with this yourself and you've done any sort of cool combinations, let me know. But otherwise, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. If you want to catch more from us at Arekkz Gaming, don't forget you can catch the guys TwoSixNine and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch weekdays, playing a variety of games. If you guys want to jump in, tune in, watch, and even join in, then make sure you check them out. The links to those are in the description box down below. And of course, you can join the Discord to get involved in all of the discussions.